Alright, appreciate you. See what we can't do.
I can't read that.
Well, 20 minutes go. You know.
What does that mean? Please don't freak out. God, people are stupid. Oh, this article. Speaking of the G4 being ancient Chinese secret, this is the ancientest Chinese secret. Why wokeism will rule the world. Remember this article from 100 years
Go,
ago?
go, go! That's 20 minutes to go. 20 minutes.
Maybe it's archived on the internet. Ancient Chinese.
Ancient Chinese secret.
Did you just make that right now?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I'm gonna erase 4 of your mistakes for that.
Not bad.
You're down 13.
Woo!
Ancient.
Stay on that track there, Sung Yank.
Is that another 4?
No, now you're back up because that wasn't right. We need to ban wokeism. The woke movement could be the next great U.S. cultural export, and it's going to do many other countries some real good. Now, I read this article, and the guy's pretty intelligent, and he's relatively skeptical. But this article's retarded, and you know what's funny about it? The picture they used for this thumbnail, yes, that's how old it is. I've had a file on my desktop called Evergreen.
Well, I'm not going to read it, man. Go ahead and check out. We'll get away from these guys.
That's from White Lotus. White Lotus
Roger Lodge.
is about this white family who goes on vacation. The girl brings her black friend. Her friend's not black, all right? She is slightly black skinned. And the friend is kind of woke, and she falls in love with one of the guys who works there, who's very Hawaiian, indigenous looking. They fall in love. They bang all the time. And then she sees him entertaining the guests with like fire sticks. And she goes, that's disgusting. You know, this is your culture. They've taken it away from you. He's like, I never even really noticed. I'm just doing my job. She goes, no, your family's poor. All these people are rich. You know, one of these women has a bracelet that's worth $80,000. So she sets up a thing where he can come in and steal it. And then he can quit his job and give that woman where he's selling his bracelet. But anyway, it goes to shit. I'm ruining the whole show for you, by the way. Spoiler alert. If you haven't seen White Lotus by now, you might want to. And he gets caught and he goes to prison. So her bullshit wokeism ruined that guy's life forever. And she doesn't get charged, but she should. So it could have ruined her life too. And that's what you use to illustrate how awesome woke culture is?
Is that the same chick that interviewed Richard Spencer?
That clearly fucked Richard Spencer. Come on. You saw the way they talked to each other. That's not a journalist. And I hate the way that one looks. It's because we're so woke.
My dude should have raced me in that first turn.
Everything has a woke backbone to it. That woman is a mediocre journalist.
Or that first lap, that last turn.
Oh,
He had a decent shot there.
Prizes, like she got scooped from
Now, if I don't
us.
fuck up, I could probably
And
pull
now
away
she's
from him.
at CNN or something.
Like I just about did there.
Broads advice who think they're journalists. You got to check out this spinster. So this girl and her boyfriend are obsessed with Proud Boys, and he's what Andy Campbell's writing a book on them. He looks like this sort of a sloth from Ice Age, and they contact me all the time. It's funny because on their social media, all they do is shit on Proud Boys, and then they contact me and try to sound like they're going to be fair. Hey man, how are things? I just wanted some questions to ask you, you know, nothing too heavy, and just like a cool question, like Enrique Dario, he's cool, but
You're pulling away from the guy behind. The gap's now 1.2.
Like I'm gonna go, oh,
Ooh,
thanks,
actually
hey,
double
buddy,
shifted
what's
there.
going
Fuck me.
on? So I just say to the girl, I know what's going on with you. Your boyfriend doesn't have the balls to put a ring on it. That's why you have the dog, and your ovaries are drying up. Why don't you focus less on this men's club?
Uh-oh, fuck
It's
that
weird
up.
too. They're doing Excel spreadsheets about the Proud Boys and what they're up to.
Fucked it up.
And then you have like real journalists who are actually not, who are total amateurs, like Tommy Robinson. And I say amateur in a good way in this context. His spreadsheets are every victim in what's the name of that town? Telford? Yeah, every victim in Telford and who raped them. And then if that guy has any, and then he cross-references them all and notices that, like, this is the top rapist in Telford. This is second. And he's trying to stop 13-year-olds from being raped by Muslim refugees. It's not woke enough. I'm going to follow the Proud Boys around and see if any of them blurt out the N-word when they're drunk at a party. So anyway, she's on some show. Check out my getter. This also gives away the name of this.
Stayed in second through there.
Fucking show.
Fucking idiot.
It's some weird beta male nerd from DC who
You're now in the lead.
has the depth.
You're in the
of
lead, babe.
a fucking
Come on,
Sonic.
lock phone. Lock
Alright,
phone.
Bo,
And
15 minutes left. That's 15 minutes.
He wants to know. No, it's at the top.
Yeah, well, so
He wants to know, what are the Proud Boys more like, the KKK or the Nazis? Like, I might sue this guy too now.
Sedition Day. Somebody on Twitter says happy Sedition
We're
Day.
setting the pace.
Other people are saying, hey, maybe
That's what I like to hear, babe.
Day or Capitol Police Day. Capitol
Stop.
Police Day. That's
You know Eugene Goodman, right? That's the black guy who said, stop the insanity gun. It's so random, the heroes they choose. I can't tell you how many liberal Twitter accounts I've seen where the banner is Eugene Goodman.
Matthew Rosal tweets, I thought Christmas was National Lie to Your Children Day. Or how about
Man, Marco, I thought you were gonna make it in front of him.
Wait a
That's why I
minute,
didn't say anything.
Why did you choose include the Santa one in there? It's hard. Like, can you edit your own shit? That's got nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Fuck that corner up.
Yes, it sort of does.
atheism goes hand in hand with comedy.
conversation in a minute.
But apparently he did too. He didn't get a cry exit.
Very pleased. Is Tess Owen, senior reporter with Vice News, who covers extremists.
Oh, this sounds like an important journalist. I wonder what her studio will look like. The lighting will probably be great.
Extremists with guns at Vice.com. Tess's Twitter handle is Miss Tess Owen, M-I-S-S.
Wait, go back. She's an expert on extremists
You're
with
pulling
guns.
away. The gap
So
behind
I
is
think
now
she's all
2.4
over,
seconds.
the Black Hebrew Israelites and MS-13
It's fucking going
and
down.
Aryan Nations and Redneck Revolt, right? They're extremists with guns. Or do they have to like Trump for you to care?
Guns, extremists with guns at Vice.com.
Wait, go back. I didn't hear that.
Tess's Twitter. A minute. Or how about Anti-Fascist Day? Anyhow, we'll continue that conversation in a minute.
Look farther down the track, bud. Stupid idiot.
Robinson has just been disqualified.
Is Tess Owen, senior reporter with Vice News, who covers extremists, guns, extremists with guns at Vice.com.
What a range. I
Tess's Twitter
cover
handle is
extremists, guns,
Hey,
and
Mark,
extremists
go
with
around me.
guns.
Go around me, Mark. All right, thank you, bud.
Still pulling away from that guy in second, even though I keep fucking up through there.
Fucking around, Cole.
Yeah, what was-
I
can
didn't
we
get
see your
repairs
work on
needed.
that?
I
That's a lot of guns.
had to have.
That looks pretty extreme.
It's about 7 times any pictures of Proud Boys you've seen armed.
Where are they?
Like, Proud Boys never have guns. That's the other thing. They'll be like doing security for a march, and that involves going through some sort of perimeter that got a permit. And to do that, the cops search you. So if you're going into the event, we don't go to their things, they go to our things, then you have to be disarmed. So like, all they have is fists. If you want to do extremists with guns, you're probably going to end up with lefties most of the time.
Tess Owen, M-I-S-S-T-E-S-S-O-W-E-N, or at Vice News.
Just put up the
And,
handle on your
most
screen, fuckhead.
Some piece is titled "The Proud Boys Changed Tactics After January 6th." We tracked their activity. So, Tess, welcome to the program. Tell us what's up with these white supremacist, white ethno-nationalist groups, and are the Proud Boys unique in this regard? Actually, that's probably more of a follow-up question. Let's start at the beginning. The Proud Boys changed their tactics. Tell us about this.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. So obviously Proud Boys were under a lot
Proud of your
scrutiny
boy.
after January 6th. That was kind of when they became a household name. And I think to date there are over 50 members of the group who have been charged in connection with the Capitol riot. And, there was weight charges, there was rumors of infighting within the group. There was a bombshell that came out saying that their leader, Enrique Tarrio, had at one point been a prolific law enforcement informant.
Terrible
guys,
app.
match in race pace.
This woman, her job is.
Well,
to
let's
look at
go
her
ahead and
phone.
pick it up and set race
And by
pace,
the
stupid
way,
idiot.
If you're so big in media, you can't figure out
Match,
Skype.
match.
You can't figure out Zoom. You can't figure out FaceTime. You can't have a video of you? You just put up a pretty picture? And then thirdly, you can hear her accent. It's a sort of diluted, posh British accent. She's obviously been here for a long time. And this is the crux of Proud Boy research and their detractors. It's middle-class, posh journalists whose parents pay their rent versus blue-collar guys who pay their own rent. And the real
10 minutes to go. That's 10 minutes left. That's half distance. Fuel levels are fine.
In this day and age just means
The gap behind's increased to 3.8 seconds.
They know that Proud Boys don't.
I was just ready to check that.
But they have to say that because that's the synonym for, the lower classes. So this whole thing has nothing to do with race or extremism or even Trump.
Oh no!
It's I'm monitoring
Lost it.
these plebes and making sure they don't lash out. It's like she examines, you know, the savage animals of the Sahara Desert in case they all band together and attack our
Lost it.
citizens.
I could still get a top 5 or a 4. I could probably catch all 3 of these guys in a second, so.
And for the Proud Boys. There was a lull in activity.
Down to 4th. We're alright. Oh, 5th? Yeah.
And then around the spring,
Yeah, because everyone was in jail.
5th. I can get up to 2nd.
just scattered reports, from local newspapers or on social media.
If I don't
of, you know,
grab the wrong gear and come through there. You know, you grab one mistake, they keep on coming.
Events around a range of issues like guns or abortion or masks, COVID-19 restrictions.
The gap to
And
Hunt
it
in
seems
front
like
is
they
now
were organised
0.9.
in much smaller numbers and on a much sort of quieter level. And so I started logging these appearances. Every time they showed up in uniform somewhere, I tracked it in a spreadsheet.
Excuse me, in uniform, what do you mean?
Oh, so the
How do you not know what she means? Like, do you have Google? He's even stupider than her.
Proud Boys, they had a uniform.
You can
where they
tell
could-
he wants to just talk about the KKK so badly. Can we just get to my Nazi analogies, please? Because this is sounding good. Like, they go to anti-mask things, mask
See, whenever you got it
mandates,
comfortably and I'm still trying to push for a
anti-vax
fast lap,
mandates,
what are you gonna
they
do?
go to,
I could have been
pro-life
safe and
rallies. These are sounding like
coasted.
reasonable patriots that are
It's not the way to
involved
race.
in
Times
their
pretty
local
consistent.
communities.
That lap was a
That's not what I brought
119.50.
Maybe it is.
I want you to make this spooky looming threat.
Alright.
colours, which is the gold and black uniform. Sometimes their insignia is a rooster. So they'll show up with their polos or something saying Proud Boys on them. And so what became super clear is that they were kind of eschewing these large-scale
Clear
rallies that
left.
they've been known for in the years leading up to.
Hell yeah.
And in the sort of building alliances and trying to drum up grassroots, ground-level support among
For the
conservatives.
imminent insurrection.
He fucked up the corner a little bit. I was in the wrong gear.
This is what her pitch.
I think I maybe got a little bit better exit than him.
So when it's time to charge with the militia, they'll have all their
0.9.
individual armies. That's what they're going for.
About their reach and resilience, and also attitudes towards the Proud Boys, despite the fact that they have been known for engaging in violence, very well known for engaging in violence, and that, including
The gap is
Stop
0.7.
engaging in violence. So she's against violence. So I assume she's written poems about the left's unbridled violence. Like, she's talking about extremism and violence.
P3, you're 2/10 off the pace in
Oh,
sector
that's
1.
why you
Sector
say
2
guns.
is 0.28
Because
off the
it
pace.
conjures up
Sector
an
3
image
times
of a
okay.
patriot. If she just said extremism, it would be too easy to ask, what about radical Islam? They use machetes.
From the 19-teens, when Birth of a Nation came out, the recruiting movie for the Klan, and we saw an explosion in Klan membership.
Car left.
Until the 1950s,
Still
In the
there,
bed.
left.
it had become somewhat respectable in what
Thank you.
Well done, Bo. Nice move, mate.
to be a member of the Klan. I mean, it became unrespectable again after the 1960s, or disrespectful.
That's half fuel. You've used half your fuel.
You're faster
That
than
you think that they're
you
trying to
try to
follow?
race
They're-
Just stop here. So, Proud Boys were rallying a lot in 2021. They really ramped up the rallies at the election, right? So that's November, December, January. Then there was a lull for like, well, it's, let's say 3 or 4 months, right? And then they started seeing them January, February, March, April. So in
Keep it
spring
coming, man.
and
This
summer,
is
we
great.
started seeing
Me
these
too.
other things, right? So we're talking about months here. We haven't even really covered an entire year.
5 minutes to go. You're looking good for a podium.
Oh, little curb hop.
Track limits. Watch those
For
lines.
40 years till the 60s, and then they died out. Is that kind of like what's going on with the January 6th? Are you talking about? Like, the level of idiocy from our detractors is alarming.
They're trying. I mean, I grew up in Lansing, Michigan. I mean, they're in the, and I was born in 1951. I remember.
Oh, so you saw Detroit collapse.
Uh-oh, he had a little bit of a hiccup there.
Is that racist?
Don't do that again.
Politicians in Michigan being identified as Klan members. Robert Byrd, you know, who was in the United States
Stop. Robert Byrd, yeah, I remember him. That's the one that Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton saw as their mentor. Weren't they both at his funeral? Aren't there tons of pictures of Hillary and Robert Byrd, the Democrat, ex-Klansman, hugging and kissing and palling it up? Yeah,
Hugging
right.
and a kissing.
He was a prominent Democrat, KKK.
Had been a Grand Master, Grand Wizard of the Klan or something like that.
Grand Master, Grand Wizard.
And then it became unacceptable. But do you think that they're trying to go through that arc that the Klan went through in the 30s, 40s, 50s of, hey, we're part of a respectable society, we're just the fringe?
Wait, you changed his question at the very end there.
It's a great question.
Great
we've
question.
logged 114 uniformed appearances in 73 cities in 24 states.
Cities.
Last year.
Happy Black Lives Matter.
And
All right, Bo. You're gaining on the guy in front. The gap is 6.1 seconds.
Pushback when they tried to, attach themselves to right-wing causes when they showed up to school board meetings or city council meetings or anti-vax rallies, that they seem to be.
Okay, let me explain her mentality here. So it's just a given that the Proud Boys.
He's
are
got to
the
make a mistake in these
they're
next
wearing
couple laps. I don't think I can make up
Satan
over a
persona.
second a lap on him.
So there should be pushback. If you see them show up at a thing, everyone thinks
Push,
like
push,
Tess
push.
Owen,
Remember the
that
chance
they're
of winning
looking at
this.
Nazis, so there should be pushback. And if there's not pushback, then they're accepting Nazism. Is it possible, media pundit, you fucking activist journalist, is it possible that your assessment about the club is wrong? And there wasn't pushback because people are accepting Nazis. There wasn't pushback because it's only the 5 Ps that hate Proud Boys. The rest of the country loves them. The politicians, the pundits, the professors, the police's boss. What's the other one?
And now the press.
The gap behind is now 4.4 seconds.
Pundits, politicians, they all
Okay,
of
Bo,
those
10 minutes of
elites,
fuel
which is
remaining.
a shrill minority, they all hate the Proud Boys. But when Proud Boys go out to rallies, everyone is cheering them on. And when I go to any blue-collar bar, people buy me beers.
Just
they're
2
not
minutes left. 2
accepting
minutes to go.
Nazism. They're not accepting your ridiculous infantile narrative. Anyway, let's. I brought this up. I feel like we're giving these losers too much attention. But I brought this up. No, bring it back because I want to hear them get to Nazism.
Breaking themselves and actually having some success. And on top of these kind of uniform appearances, they are also.
If only this would have been a 40-minute lap, 40-minute race, could have had him.
doing kind of
But
community activism. So
that's why I'm way down here, because I make fucking
examples
mistakes.
where they organize an Easter egg hunt out in a suburb of Chicago.
What are you gonna do, Tom?
Where they help, they organize toy drives around Christmas. Or
Yeah, Proud Boys have been doing that since day one. The toy drives, remember the flooding in Texas? They've been going to help people and doing charity work since day one. The club is based on the Knights of Columbus.
1 more to go. Keep it together. We'll
So
be on
it's
the
not
podium.
whitewashing the image, it's doing what we've always done. These people don't understand.
Yellow
that
flag.
They're saying more about themselves when they analyze the club than they are about the club. The club doesn't change. It's the background behind them that keeps changing, the perception.
just a range of these kinds of Good Samaritan activities.
It couldn't
that
possibly be
Whoa.
actual Good Samaritans. That's not possible.
Yeah,
My
and
hypothesis could not be wrong.
sort of whitewash their reputation a little bit
Yeah.
and help them foster those alliances.
Bring it back.
What is the I mean, if you were to ask what is the core belief system of the Ku Klux Klan, I think everybody would simply say, white supremacy. What is the core? The Proud Boys have been, they've been seen as brawlers. They've been seen as bigots.
Question, dude. Am I this bad when I interview people? Get to the question.
Seen as men who have masculinity insecurity issues. They've been seen as guys who are into guns. I mean, it's kind of scattered in terms of public perception or understanding.
That's 2 minutes left. 2
Yeah,
minutes.
that's true. There is no public understanding from you people.
Is there a single
done, Bo.
coherent
Great drive.
thread that
That's the
runs
podium.
through them, or have they
Good race,
coalesced
Michael.
around a particular issue?
Let me just answer that. That's a great question,
tough
as
one,
usual.
man.
I would say that it's definitely pro-Trump.
Mistakes were
Started
made.
out,
It happens.
You had a few Dems in there. You had the odd liberal. It came from a comedy show. But with Trump,